Hey, what's up everybody, welcome back to another video. This is the continuation of the hack and slash tutorial series, and in this video I'm going to show you how to implement the camera system. We already talked a little bit about the free cam system like this one when the character is not locking in to a certain enemy, and we are going to deep dive on how to make this lock-on system. I think I'm going to break it down step by step so you can follow along. And yeah, I think I forgot to make a little bit of disclaimer that this tutorial is for a little bit of a intermediate, so I hope that you have a prerequisite knowledge on how to make 3D games before in Godot specifically, and how to use Blender. Well, Blender is not in this case, but in this case is Godot. So I hope you guys understand that. And so yeah, before we go there, I think I just want to do a little bit of a house cleaning. You can go to my Ko-fi page and subscribe or become a supporter. You're gonna get a lot of stuff for free, like this one, for example, the newest project file, and also the project file from the past, starting from whatever it is, the first one. But this one, versus graphic asset, I still want to sell it though. But hey, with that, you can always check out the other stuff. So with only $5 a month, you can get all of these. You can just, subscribe 1 month and then download everything and then unsubscribe. It's fine. It's your money, but it's there for you to check out. So yeah, thank you so much for all the support, and let's just get back to the tutorial talking about the lock-on system, and let's just get into it. Let's go to Godot. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the camera setup, reviewing a little bit how it relates with the, how should I say, the main character. So yeah, let's take a look at the setups. So first of all, because we're going to have a lock-on system, if you remember, in the unit base, or in the base class of the units for the main character and the enemy, you have this function in the ready method here, or in the ready function here, which is add to group. So it means that this node will be added to group with the name of the, or with the type of the unit. In this case, I put the enumeration, sorry about that, which is the type, what kind of enemy, or what kind of unit is this one. There are only two right now, player and enemy. I think you can add more, like maybe boss or whatever, but for now I think I just need player and enemy. So when you assign like the enemy, for example, in this case I put the unit type to enemy, so it's not player, and then it will automatically says, or when the node is instantiated into the scene, it will add to group the unit type based on the unit type. So add to group enemy. So basically, all the enemy on the screen, or on the level itself, or on the scene, is stored in the enemy group. If that, oh, hello, if that makes sense. So that's what happened when this is executed. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's important for the lock-on later on. So talk about that. I'm done with that. And now the camera rig. So the camera rig, like I told you, it has two kind of like a pivot, you can say. The first one is the Y pivot, where you rotate the Y axis on the Y axis. And then X is a spring bone that acts as a collision checker, also like a ray caster. And also the rig for the X rotation, which is the tilting up and down. And then you need to check the top level here, because we are going to rotate the character and the camera separately, right? So when the character is rotated, we don't want the camera to be rotated also, or along with the character. So we need to put it on top level. So all the transform is not based on the character itself, but it's kind of like independent from one another. So that's important for this one. And so, because it is the, I'm going to touch a little bit on the code here. Because of the independency, you need to put the, where is it? Where is the process here? Let me take a look. Yeah, so you need to set the global position of the camera, because it is independent, right, from the main character. Go to, or interpolate it every frame to make it closer to the position of the target. In this case, is the player, right? So around this step, you put the camera closer and closer to the position of the player. So that's the basic setups for the camera. And free cam, we talk about that. This is just for the rotation when it's not locked. Taking the input and then rotate the respective axis with the respective rig with the respective axis. Using the input, and then this is just the kind of like resetting the tilt or the orientation of the camera. So that's the basic setup for the camera without the lock-on mechanism. So with that, I think I'm going to break down the lock-on itself. I'm going to explain step by step on what it is doing and show you the result without it, with or without it. So I'm gonna take a break for a moment. I want to grab some water. Oh boy, are you ready? Because this one is gonna be code heavy and explanation heavy. Make sure you sit down right now and I don't know, relax and pay attention. All right. So we are going to discuss about the switching target, right? So okay. I think I will do a little bit of a demonstration just one more time. The switching target is when you are locked in, the camera can switch, or the target can switch from left to right enemies, right? So I don't really put like the enemy above right now. It could be an option in the future, but I just want to keep it simple right now. So it could just go from left to right. So ignore the y-axis basically, even though during the code there is actually a y-axis kind of like checking, but that's beside the point. So this is the idea, going left and right, changing the position, but when the enemy is off screen or too far away, it's not going to change. So it should be in the view of the camera. So basically that's the idea, right? By pressing the left and right and the right gamepad or right analog stick, right analog stick here, that's the idea. All right, so buckle up. A lot of explanation gonna come in your way. Grab a drink, cup of coffee or whatnot. I will explain it, and hopefully I don't die in the process. So the switch target here, right? And here we go. So there is the the function here. If it is locked on, then input is action just pressed, which is the checking of the input. If it is left or right, then switch the target with this parameter, and I'm going to break it down. Switch target. Here we go. The direction is the the built-in argument here, or the argument that the function need, left or right, like you see before. Now, if there is no current target or there is no camera node, then ignore this switch or this function, this method basically. Just ignore it if the camera does not exist. Now, enemies, this is also getting the group of the enemy group. Again, this is for this one. And then best candidate is the one that is going to be returned by the variable, or the one that is going to be the target here. And then closest screen distance, this is kind of like the, I think the, the checking of on the space. Just keep it high, as high as possible, or as high as you need it, I guess. Now, current screen position. Now we need to check if the current target, the current position of the current target by using this. Unproject position. What is this? You can actually hover it. It means that you are returning the coordinates of the 3D point and convert it into 2D viewport coordinates. So when it actually in the world is actually in the scene, it's actually 3D world or 3D point. Now you're just taking the kind of like the X and Y axis in relative or in relation to the viewport in the camera that is being shown. All right. If you want to give it a read, read the documentation or read another example that's gonna like explain that more. But that's basically the gist of the function there. For enemy, so this is we create a new variable called enemy, and then using these for loops, we kind of like finding the best candidates pretty much the same or similar to the when we are checking for the first target, you know, the closest one. That's kind of like what we are looking for. So we check for the enemies or an enemy in the enemy group. And then if enemy is current target, then just skip it. If the node that is being checked is the current target, then skip it. And if not valid, also skip, right? If the instance kind of like already deleted or is already freed from the memory, then you just ignore this function or just continue to the next loop of the for loop here. And then if player global position distance to, this is checking the distance to the lock-on distance. The lock-on distance is actually the one that is set here to the enemy global position. And then if the camera is, excuse me, why am I blanking here? If camera node is positioned in frustum, oh yeah, okay. So checking if the enemy node in the enemy group is outside the view of the camera. So this is basically in position in frustum. What is frustum? I am going to pull up a little bit here, the image here. So frustum is if the enemy in this area, right? If it is basically if the enemy is shown in the camera. If it's not, then just ignore it. If it is shown, please check it. But if it's not, then don't check it. You know, don't bother. If the enemy groups, or if the enemy that is being checked in the enemy groups is not part of the, or is not shown, being shown on the camera, then just ignore it. So that's kind of like what this function is, checking the, in the frustum, is it shown in the camera or not? And then get an enemy screen position, which is the enemy global position. If all this kind of like already passed, the criteria is already kind of like, okay, this enemy is fit, or the criteria is fit for this enemy, then check for its position. And then there's the difference between the camera and the the enemy position. We check for the X and Y, but I think we can ignore the Y because we don't really prioritize that. Basically this one. Now, for the logic, if the direction is right, then we need to find something that is positive, right? Because the X is on the right is positive axis, while the Y is, the left side is the negative value, right? And if the score of the difference, or not the score, if the difference X is kind of like negative, then it is actually on the right of the screen. We know that it is on the right of the screen, right? Okay. You're following so far. Rehydrate yourself because one more explanation, or a little bit more explanation here. And if the direction is already correct, or if the direction is correct, it means that if it is left or right, if the enemy is actually on the left or on the right, then we make assign a score, and then we take a look at the using this as a criteria, determining which one is the closest to the center of the screen. So if the middle here, checking the left and right, which one is closest? If you, or let's say there's like we locked on the first enemy here, and then there's the left, and then the mid, and then the right, right? If we are locking on the left, and then we take or we push the right stick, move the right stick, it's checked like, okay, the closest one is actually this one, the mid one. How do we know that? By assigning the score, this score. And if the score is smaller than the closest screen distance, then it means the enemy is the best candidate, and the closest screen distance set to score. And now we set the target of the lock-on target to best candidates. Ooh. What about that for an explanation? What do you think? Is that confusing or not? Okay, let's do a little bit of a visual demonstration then. So behind the scene, when I press right on the right stick, it will do all that sorting, right? Okay, so this is, for example, this one is the better angle here. So this enemy, or the camera, will check when I press right or left, we'll check which one is the closest enemy and ignoring the Z, right? Because we are checking from the camera position in the 2D space here. On imagine this camera is only have like X and Y, right? We're checking the distance from the camera to the or the view position here to the position of the enemy on the screen. Right now it's in the center, and then if we go right, it means that that's the best candidate right now. So during the process, when I press right, it checks all the criteria and says, oh, this one is actually closest. Or they check all the enemies on the screen that is shown on the screen, not every enemy on the tree. Well, it checks on the all the enemy in the enemy groups, but not every single one will be considered as a candidate. So I hope it's not that convoluted. If you just want to copy paste my code, please go ahead and download the project file. But that's the explanation for how things work in the locking mechanism. So yeah, I hope that explained everything. I don't feel confident with my explanation, but hopefully that would suffice for you guys. And if you still have questions, or if you have a better explanation, or you want to clarify some confusion for future reference for other people that watches the video, please leave a comment down below. And if you're supporting in the coffee channel or in the coffee page, please do message me and tell me what do you want to see next. Or if you also just watching, please do subscribe and tell me what do you want to see next on this series. The next part, I think I will cover a little bit on the setting up the enemies or making a little bit of a VFX here and there. But for now, I guess that would cover the locking mechanism, and hopefully the explanation suffice. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Afudangara, signing out. See you next time, and bye-bye. Oh my god, that's rough. I don't know. It feels like I'm teaching again and explaining some concept to my student. Do you guys drink out of the bottled water like right away? Or not? I heard there's like microplastic and stuff. It will make your, kind of infertile. But I do have a kid, so I don't know. I hope my kid is fine and doesn't really have a microplastic in him. But anyway, hey, maybe I will have a chit chat later on. But thank you so much for watching. My name is Odinga again. Bye bye. Have a nice day, everybody. I do feel like teaching again.